They got Tom Brady. Did you see Michael Lee Evans? My God.
It wasn't close.
All I know is Tom Brady's out there, and if you're going to let Mike Evans run for 3 touchdowns and Chris Godwin put up 120.
He bought out too.
I want to avoid Tom Brady. I've seen Aaron Rodgers in recent years in particular not get it done down the stretch, and he was on some very good teams in the playoffs. I'm talking about the playoffs, not the regular season, the playoffs, including against Tom Brady, where Brady beat Rodgers head-to-head. And, Rodgers is on a very good team.
He said, yeah, it's nice to win a division because it's so hard. But you know that's not what that guy plays for. Okay. You know that's not what that guy came back for.
You know how it goes. You know what happens. Tom Brady and company find a way. They just find a way.
Especially what we saw from them in the fourth quarter against the Carolina Panthers. Down double digits to start that quarter. Tom Brady was 12 of 13 for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he was 4 for 4 targeting Mike Evans for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
If that's the way the Buccaneers are going to play, then that makes them dangerous.
As somebody who covers the Cowboys, who likely have to play them in the wild card round, I'm taking them very, very seriously.
He was 12 for 13 for 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, which is worth a perfect 158.3 rating in the fourth quarter.
That's not what the Buccaneers are about. They're not just about making the playoffs. Todd Bowles is not going to get 1 vote for Coach of the Year. No. It's about getting to and winning the championship. That's Tom Brady.
3 of the top 5 offensive outputs for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have come in the last 3 weeks. That's what you want to continue to try to build on as you go into the postseason. Confidence comes from demonstrated performance.
He's tied Drew Brees for the all-time 300-yard games, 131, including playoffs.
I would not bet against Tom Brady with the chips on the line. Not going to do it.
200 yards? 200 yards. Chris Godwin went for 120, by the way. You got a receiver core that can do that. You got Russell Gage picking up crucial third downs. I know Leonard Fournette didn't do a whole lot yesterday, but I remember playoff Lenny. Then you got a defense. You got Devin White and Levante David. Antoine Winfield's back from injury. If you're not taking them seriously, please tell me why you shouldn't. That's what I want to hear.
Tom Brady is going to have that over his head, Skip, as long as he's the NFL, because that's all he plays for.
And if you're not going to defend Mike Evans, if you're just going to assume if he gets open, he's going to drop it like he did when they met the first time in Charlotte, you're going to get burned multiple times by Mike Evans and Tom Brady. And that's exactly what happened. And look, it doesn't matter when you wake up. As long as you wake up, you can hit the snooze 50 times. As long as you wake up and get to work on time, you are on time. And the Bucs are on time, and they're in the playoffs. And I don't think anybody wants to be that 5 seed and go to Tampa Bay and face the team that did what they did yesterday with 432 passing yards from that 45-year-old quarterback.
I watched the Carolina game. It looked like Carolina was going to run them off the field early in the game. They just keep finding ways to do it.
Mike Evans, in that game against the Carolina Panthers, had as many touchdown catches as he's had all season.
All the mediocrity, the loss to the Steelers that feels like a lifetime ago, none of that stuff matters. They're in the playoffs, and they get to play at home.
Until it matters most, then Brady will get the ball out of his hands faster. Like, in other words, what it comes down to me is we're talking about – look at the question, guys. Let's read it carefully.
Yes, we've been looking at the question.
Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, not Bucs or Packers.
Yes.
Which quarterback would you rather avoid heading into the playoffs, not a regular season game? So we're not talking about teams, and we're not talking about regular season. We're talking about quarterbacks, playoffs. So the question is, once upon a time, I would take Brady in the playoffs over Rodgers. Would I still? Right? And the answer is yes.
Because Tom Brady's clutch. Yep. That's what you're saying.
Yep. Better clutch player than Aaron Rodgers. Clearly a better clutch player.
When the playoffs begin, they got Dallas.
That's right.
Isn't it true that Dallas got to come to Tampa Bay? They don't have to go down. Dallas got to come to Tampa Bay, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they won their division, so they got the home field.
These are their two options. Like, we don't have to guess at this. They're either going to play the Cowboys
or the Eagles,
or an Eagles team that lost out and has to play in the wild card round, might not have a healthy Jalen Hurts, might not have a healthy Lane Johnson. Those are the two likely opponents.
If you told me when you made that silly-ass statement that he fell off a cliff, however long that was.
I didn't say fell. I say he was going to fall.
He's one behind Drew Brees for the total number of 400-yard games plus 3 touchdown passes.
They're going to get a home playoff game. I don't know. It's Tom Brady.
With 14:50 left in the game, the Panthers took a 21-10 lead, and I think I texted the PFT text chain, is Brady going to do this again? Is he going to pull it out of his rear end again? And lo and behold, it was a minute of game time later that Brady hit Mike Evans with another long touchdown. And then I think another 3 minutes or so later in game time, they had taken the lead with another Tom Brady long touchdown to Mike Evans.
Who would you want to avoid more, Rodgers or Brady in the playoffs?
Well, you look, all players, they'll never, the smart ones don't admit what they're looking at the schedule. Like Aaron Rodgers said, he can look at the schedule and I can tell you I'm going to beat this one. They coming outdoors. Okay, they got to play us at home. I'm going to beat this one. And in the end, Now, as I've always said, the last couple of years, they've had the number 1 seed and they've gone home.
Even when it's been like Tom Brady finding the way to pull the rabbit out of his hat at the end of the game, that one was more of a dominant fourth quarter victory than it was like, oh, wow, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just were able to do it.
Just call them the Bradys at this point. It's funny. I mean, I went back through the PFT writers text thread, and one thing I concluded is, gosh, we send each other a lot of text messages over the course of a Sunday and every other day, but especially on Sunday. But I found it. Panthers touchdown. Brady's going to have to pull another one out of his ass. That was Miles Simmons yesterday at 3:17 p.m. 5 minutes later, my response, all caps, Evans, which was the first touchdown that cut it to 21-16. They failed the 2-point conversion try, but the next thing you know, they were up by 9, and they held on to win the game, and they win the division, and off they go. Evans was incredible. Brady was incredible. Guys retire because they can't do it anymore, not because they don't want to do it. They retire because they can't do it.
Right.
Tom Brady can still do it. One of the reasons Brett Favre came back and played, he heard Phil Simms on Sirius XM NFL radio saying, I decided I'm going to play until they pull the uniform off of me. And if Tom Brady's going to make that decision at some point, well, he's got 5 years left in him. When is that arm going to go? It isn't showing any signs of going anywhere. So why would you stop? He said when he was Sportsman of the Year, I think 2021, late in the year, he said something along the lines of this to John Wertheim. I don't want to watch football games and say, those guys suck, I can do better than them. Well, when you've already signed on to broadcast games for Fox, and you're going to see guys play every week, and you're going to be studying film, and he's already doing the grumpy old man, get off my lawn, football is bad, there's a lot of bad football stinks. Well, why would you stop? Why would you quit when you're playing at this level? And I know that it takes a while to get the engine going, but once it gets going, as you said, 12 for 13 down the stretch with a perfect passer rating. If he's still capable of doing that, who cares how he plays in the first 3 quarters of the game?
Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe as I post a new Tom Brady video every day.